Welcome. This is MoneyHeart, where we explore the emotional side of money. I'm Camille Diaz, and today we're discussing creating prosperity. My guest is Andrea Blindt. Andrea, pronounced N-drey-uh, is a registered nurse, holistic health practitioner, and best-selling author and life and mindset coach. Andrea empowers her clients through her own personal healing journey. She helps her clients create wealth by amplifying their health. She supports patients as they discover ways to enhance prosperity in their lives by reclaiming their power, advocating for what is in their best interest, and learning the tools needed to be able to make decisions for themselves that are aligned with their beliefs. This allows her patients to create abundance, experience tranquility, and live life with clear intention. Andrea, welcome to MoneyHeart.
Hello, Camille. Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. I'm so glad that you have joined us today and are sharing your story here. We're going to talk about a major turning point in your life when you managed to go from victim mindset in regards to money and switch over to prosperity mindset. And since, like for many of us, that was kind of triggered by a big, major, painful life event. Most of us don't make change until we have something big happen and then we go, okay, I'm ready. But before we get to that piece, I kind of want to start with where you started. So kind of tell us about what happened before your major event.
Yes, thank you for opening with that. So all of us are born into the world with just our own thoughts. And as we grow up in our environment, we are influenced by our parents, our teachers, our government, all of the forces around us that kind of give us our beliefs. And so for me, it was growing up in a home with a single mom who worked full time to provide for me and my two sisters. And she was exhausted. She came home tired every day. She was angry all the time because she just worked to survive. And so seeing her and hearing her words, which were, we don't have enough money doesn't grow on trees, I need to work for money because you can't buy food without money. You can't have fun without money. We can't pay for a house without money. I thought, oh my gosh, money is how you live in life. You don't live any other way. So you need to, one, work hard for money. And two, you can't have fun while you're doing it. You have to be grumpy because you're working hard for the money. And it's tireless. Like you just keep going. You never stop. And that's really what I did. I worked really hard in school to graduate at the top of my class. I became a nurse, and every available shift that was there, I picked up thinking, okay, I'm going to squirrel away this money for a rainy day or for food, for a house, for all of these things that I need to live. And it was like clenching the money in my hands. I was nervous every time I spent it because I thought, oh my gosh, I'm spending it. It was such a lack mindset of, oh no, I have to work. Don't spend it, because if you spend it, you have to work harder again to get it back, instead of that ease of the ebb and flow of money, trusting that I am safe to spend it, knowing that I can make more money, that I live in a world that is full of money, and that it can be different.
Yes, I love that concept of trusting that you can make more and there will be more and there's enough for everyone, because it really is trust. It's like, okay, I trust the process. It's going to work. So
yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful the way that you put that. Share with us what moved you to change this concept of, I've got to go work hard and it's not going to be fun because it's work. So it can't be fun. So it's hard. Right. How did you start shifting from that?
So my big shift started when I became pregnant with my first set of twins. I was a fertility nurse at the time. I was working anywhere from 70 to 80 hours a week in office, seeing patients with the doctor that I worked with. He was a world-renowned specialist, and I loved what I did. So I thought, okay, this is great. At least I'm having joy while I'm working exhaustively. And so I worked and worked, and I had become pregnant myself. And because I had that limiting mindset, I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to literally work until the day I go into labor. Then I'm going to just walk across the street to the hospital. I'll deliver my babies. Then I'll be home for a few months for bonding time. And then I'm going to go right back to work, because that was my mindset. You have to work to live.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't turn out that way for me.
Yeah.
I had preterm labor. My twins were delivered early. I spent 2 months in the hospital working to carry them. And during that time, there was a lot of stillness, of laying and being completely present with myself. And I still hadn't tapped into those roots of my money belief or where I was. And I didn't even know the outcome of my pregnancy or my life at that point. But my twins ended up being delivered early. At 26 weeks, they lived for 5 days and then they died.
Oh.
And so when that happened, my entire world imploded. I went home to a house that had cribs set up and baby supplies, but I didn't have babies. And it just felt very surreal. My family and friends didn't really know how to talk about infant death. It wasn't something we'd ever learned in school. And death is hard. Not very many people feel comfortable talking about death or even sitting in that grieving process with others. And so I was very alone, and it almost felt like I was living in an alternate reality where I had an incision in my abdomen that was physical proof of their existence. And I had belongings in my house, but nobody talked about them. And so I just went through a deep depression. And I remember crying one day thinking, it doesn't matter if I'm a millionaire. It doesn't matter if I have money, if I work hard. I did work hard. I did have money, but I don't have them. And it was almost like a light bulb went off. And I thought, wow, it doesn't matter how much money you have, because money cannot buy life. Or it can buy life, it can sustain life, but to what extent? And that really was the eye opener for me that took me down my money journey in a different way.
That is such a wonderful insight that you had of, I can have all this money, but it doesn't really matter how much I have. Like, that's not going to change these fundamental things.
Right.
And I think sometimes we get stuck in a loop of thinking it will.
Yes.
Oh, if I could just make this much per year, oh, if I could just get enough for whatever it is, then everything's going to be good.
Right.
And they're not necessarily connected.
No. And so often we lock our focus on the end game, which is making X amount of dollars or having 15 clients, that we miss all of the little gifts on our journey to making that money. We miss out on going to the beach with our family. We miss out on a holiday because we're working instead. And so it's really reevaluating what's important to you and what fills you up in your heart, what brings you joy and value, because money can be here today and you can choose to get rid of it all tomorrow. And how would your life look?
Yeah. Yeah. Would you still have anything that you were happy and excited about if it wasn't just the money? Yeah. I love that. Let's talk a little bit more about this concept of what money can do and what it can't do. So, and how we shift kind of from those limiting beliefs of I have to have this and I need this and I've got and that victim mindset of this happened to me and now I can't fix it or whatever, to that sort of abundance concept, what money will do for you. And I know you have a lot of this in your upcoming book.
Yes, I do. So I would love to read just a little bit of my book, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that would be great.
So this is my upcoming book, Prosperity Codes. It releases May 3rd on Amazon. So it will be available then. I'm very excited. So this is part of it that will answer some of that question.
Perfect.
It took death for me to fully redefine what it meant to be prosperous in life and to fully step into abundance. Today, experiencing prosperity means I live life fully in health, in knowledge, and in limitless possibility. I am empowered knowing that I create my own abundance, and that while the world might have a negative impact on it occasionally, I am the only one who gets to define what that impact means for me and how I choose to stand up and press forward despite it. Prosperity means I take control of my life and acknowledge that I am not a victim. I stand tall regardless of what is happening around me because I know true wealth grows within me. I understand that I am capable of reaching my full potential by living an empowered life rather than a life with limits and restrictions. I stopped listening to my old beliefs and started creating new ones that inspired me and encouraged me to create a life worthy of passing on to my children. I started by acknowledging that money could buy many things, but it could never buy the most important things. Some things are priceless. I learned that money isn't the only thing that brings value into life. More important than money for me was the way I felt, the connections I made, and the abundant life I could create simply by imagining it was possible. I learned that money can't buy happiness because happiness is a feeling. Money could help me buy a car that I felt happy driving in, but the happiness that I experienced from driving in that car is free, and it's available to anyone, regardless of social status or finances. I stopped working for money and started letting money work for me. I invested in myself, increasing my personal abundance and prosperity from the inside out. I stopped giving my power away to money, believing money could buy me the life of my dreams. Instead, I started creating the life I wanted to live by taking daily actions that felt good in my mind and body, and eventually abundance showed up in my life.
I love that. There was so much good stuff in there.
Thank you.
The concept of the empowerment and, realizing that it was up to you. I think that was kind of the biggest thing, or the biggest change that you made. And you did it in a different way, not just up to you, because before you were kind of, well, I just have to work really hard. It's up to me. I work really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And now you switch to, it's up to me. I choose how I'm going to feel.
Yes.
And I choose how I'm going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
That's so great.
I switched completely to feeling. So that is how I create in my life today. I don't look at the end goal. I look at the end feeling. How do I want to feel when I get there? Because life, you can't control how things show up and look in life. There are storms that will come and go, and we live our best life when we know who we are and how we choose to show up daily despite the storms around us. And so really deciding, okay, at the end of the day, how do I want to feel? And what steps do I need to take right now to help me match that feeling? And then that becomes a sign to me if I'm moving through my day and I'm not feeling the feeling that I want. It's an easy way for me to check in and reevaluate. Whoa, okay, you're feeling a little on edge. You're snapping, you're sassy. Do you want to feel sassy? Because maybe you do, and that's okay. Or is your goal still to feel this way at the end of the day? Because if it is, let's figure out what's happening that's causing that sassiness so that you can get back online to reaching your end goal.
Yeah, that is such an easy way to check in with yourself. Of going, okay, how am I feeling right now? How is this going today? Like I would do it at a meal time, right? As soon as you're on a break, right? You're okay, how am I feeling? Ooh, Yeah, I've kind of been, yeah, maybe not little more harsh than I wanted to be today. And I was
Mhm.
thinking I was going to have a really like productive day and I was going to be really kind to people. So resetting that concept. Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
so nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
knowing that that's okay. That's the gift in reassessing. You're honoring yourself for where you are. So even if I am sassy, I'm not judging myself for being upset, mean about it. I'm just like, okay, I see that. Do you want to keep being sassy? Like, is that really in alignment with you? And if
Right.
not, then that's okay. Just release it. I don't need to be upset that I was sassy, but I can change it right now.
Yes. Yeah. Especially, I like this concept in the empowerment idea that we've been talking about of, I've really been expressing that I'm frustrated with everything that's happening to me today. And I'm like, oh, that happened, that's that victim lack mindset, like all this stuff keeps happening to me. And if I were to check in and go, wow, I seem really upset today about everything that's happening to me. Okay, well, what am I doing? And sort of regaining that. That's not what I wanted to feel today. That was not the plan. I do not love this.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
would I love to feel? And then going and refocusing on what you would love to feel rather than judging what you were feeling before, because it's probably just going to bring more than the same
Right.
if you get all judgy about it.
It does. Yeah. And when we stick in the victim mindset of everything's happening to me, we're so powerless. We don't have control of anything, which then just makes us feel more of a victim. And more of those experiences show up in our eyesight because that's what we're aware of.
Mhm.
But even if a lot of crappy things are happening around you in your life, you can see them for what they are. Dang, I got a flat tire and I just paid for this and this just broke. And I feel like, I'm paying for so many things right now. It feels like everything's happening to you and everything's breaking right now. That's true. That
Yeah.
is a true sucky situation.
Yeah.
That's also like a sign that you can tap back in and say, okay, man, that stinks that my tire needs to be replaced. I'm so grateful that I can replace it today, knowing that I have enough money to pay for it today and that I can
Right.
make more money, but also I'm thankful that I get to replace it today instead of maybe a month from now when it went out on a freeway and it could have been catastrophic.
Yes.
So I just try to see the little blessings in every even pain in the butt moment.
Right?
Yes.
Yes, we've been doing a lot of house repairs lately. I don't know if it comes through on the video that there's somebody on my roof at the moment,
Not at
just
all.
banging around. Thank goodness it's not in the audio. But it's kind of that way. It's like, oh, I have to fix another thing, or you know what? I'm capable of fixing this thing. I have the resources to call someone, to have them come do it, to pay them to do it properly. Like all of that stuff is something to
Yes.
be grateful for, that it can get done and it can all work out. So yeah,
Yes. Such a
love that.
gift. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, such a gift. Any other sort of tips for helping us easily shift? Because that's great of just focusing on the feeling you want to feel, rather than like, I would love to feel this way, and oh goodness, I'm kind of doing this. Well, I won't judge that. We'll just move on.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really love to walk people through getting very clear on what is important to them because when we know what our values are, what is important to us, and what type of life we want to live, it's so much easier for us to make choices that are in alignment with those values. And so, one thing you can do really easily, you can do it with family, friends. If you have kids, you can do it with them because it's a really fun activity to do. Just get a list and write down what is important to you. So for me, it's really important for us to eat clean food that we get to cook at home. We know where it was, how it was prepared.
Right.
We drink clean water. That was very important for us to have alkaline water in our house. And so as we're saving money for certain things, it's then easy for me to say, oh man, okay, to buy an alkaline water unit costs this much.
Mhm.
Well, tap water's free, yes. But does that get me to the end goal, which is optimum health, a decrease in these symptoms that we're having, and water that I can really monitor and play a role in making sure is pure and energetic for me.
Mm-hmm.
So then that makes spending that money on that easier, and my gratitude for it increases because I played a big role in it. So really get clear on what's important to you. What steps do you need to take in order to reach that goal? And be aware of any obstacles or barriers, distractions that might pull you away from that goal.
Mm-hmm.
So in that same situation, if we are putting money aside for a water filter that's important for our family, and then the tire goes out, how then do I allocate that money? Do I keep taking from something that's important to me for little hiccups that will come along the way?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I leave that there knowing that it has purpose and meaning and is working towards what I need it to go towards, and then reanalyze how I'm going to handle this little blip that came today?
Yeah.
And so that's what I would encourage you to do also.
Yeah, I think that is a fantastic strategy for so many situations. One, you will always naturally work in your values. Yes. Whether you think you are or not, you're always going to work in your values. So if you know what your values are, you can make more intentional choices working in them. Yeah. If you don't know what they are, you're still going to work in them. You just won't know that that's what you're doing. And you may kind of sabotage yourself along the way because you're not making conscious decisions about it, even though you're definitely doing it. If you're not sure how to figure out your values and you're like, I don't know what is most important to me, go check your calendar and your bank account and your credit card statements, because wherever you're putting your time and your money, that's what you value. Yes. So, yeah. And then the second thing on that was that idea of revisiting that value when you're faced with a choice, especially a money one of, am I going to go get from that thing I've been saving for and put it over here into this other situation, or am I going to leave it alone? You saying I'm saving for this water filtration unit, which is kind of expensive, but it aligns with our values of, clean, healthy food and drink. I'm thinking of this in the situation of like saving for a trip, saving for a house, saving for retirement. So many times we see that pile of money and a little thing comes up and we're like, oh, well, I'll just go pull from that pile. It's not a big deal. Okay. Value recheck. Is that still aligning with what's most important to you? Are you still using the money for what you intended? Or do we need to handle that little hiccup in a different way, like an emergency fund?
Mm-hmm. So
yeah, that's great.
So important, because you need it. It's important to honor you and to take care of yourself. And if we continually shift funds in that way, we almost reduce the trust we have in ourselves and dilute our dream or our future potential, because we're showing ourselves, it's actually not that important, because I'm easily going to remove from that when it's easier for me.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes it's work to stick to the dream, stick to the plan. Yeah. And I love that every time you put money in there and you leave it for the thing you're saving for, you're giving yourself a vote of confidence. And every time you go sneak something from that fund, you're giving yourself a negative vote and you can't do it. Yeah, that's not important to us, because you're not sticking with the plan. So excellent way to look
subconsciously, so sneaky,
sneaky.
That's a thought that creeps right in. But you could even go, every time you allocate money somewhere or spend money doing something that's right in your values, you can tell yourself, like, gosh, that was so easy, or that felt so good, putting my money towards something that means so much to me. Because then you're thinking it, but you're also saying it and doing it. So it becomes a deeper truth within you.
Right. Yeah. A great way to maybe pause when you're about to do that impulse buy on something, to ask yourself, does this align with my values? How will I feel after I've made this purchase? Is it the thing that I really want right now? Or is it not the thing that I want because it's going to mess up my future plan? So it's a fabulous strategy.
Yes.
Do you have any others that you want to share with us on how we can do that?
So I did create an abundance journal that is a gift for any listeners, anyone who you think would benefit from it. If you're listening to this right now and you have a friend or a mom, an aunt, an uncle, anyone, it's a gift. So please share it with them. You can get that on my website. It is andreablindt.com/gifts. And it's there for you. It's 65 pages. It will walk you through really getting clear on your original money story. So any beliefs you have around money, then it will talk to you about the present and then the future. So we really get to game plan and map it out together. It'll have a few questions that help you get clear and create, walk you through all of that. And hopefully at the end, you have a really clear idea of what is important for you and how you can create abundance in every area of your life, not only pertaining to money.
I love this. I feel like I need to go download the journal now. Sounds so cool. And I love that, past, present, future concept of it, of making sure of going through all the pieces. Because like we started out, we all have this history, and then we've got what we want now and what we would love for our future to look like. So
Yes.
what a great gift. Thank you so very much. And thank you for sharing your story with us today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, this has been awesome. If you would like to connect with Andrea, you can do that on Instagram. Her handle there is at Andrea Blindt, all one word. Or you can email her by emailing heal@andreablindt.com. And you spell that AndreaBlindt. You can also book a free 15-minute connection call through her website, andreablindt.com. And then the Abundance Journal is also on the website /gifts. Thank you as well to all of our listeners and viewers. I'm your host, Camille Diaz. I'm a business optimization coach, financial educator, author, and speaker. You can contact me and find out what I'm up to through my website, CamilleDiaz.com, and follow me on social media at Cam Unfiltered. Be sure to follow MoneyHeart at MoneyHeart Show, and our website is MoneyHeartShow.com. Okay, Andrea, would you like to share today's money mantra?
Yes, today's money mantra is to stop working for money and start letting money work for you.
I love that. And I know it's a quote from your book, which is coming out May 3rd. So very excited, and congratulations on the book.
Thank you. Thank you so much.